And welcome into the latest edition of the Sick Podcast, Draft Vogel. I'm John Vogel, your host, and today we've got another prospect joining us, and we're excited to get a chance to talk to him. But first, we got an intro to play. So we got the big guns in the studio. Sammy, AC, let's get this thing rolling.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. With Draft Vogel.
With the first pick in the 2021 NFL Draft. The first pick in the 2022 NFL Draft. With the first pick in the 2023 NFL Draft.
The sickest NFL Draft Show. It's gonna be sick.
And the sickest NFL Draft Show is brought to you by DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code SICKSPORTS to get $200 instantly in bonus bets with just a $5 bet. Get on top of that with Sick Sports, the code, on any NFL bet. We got the Super Bowl coming up, got Pro Bowl games. You can still get in on some prop bet action there. Jump on top of it because right now the crown is yours. Mark Jarvis is in the studio with us today, and as we got you loaded up, how are we doing, man?
Doing good, man.
So I'm assuming you got a chance to look at our guests a little bit, right?
A little bit. Not a whole lot, but a little bit.
Oh, a little bit. Okay. So I got you. Trey Knox is joining us now, the tight end, Arkansas by way of South Carolina. He was at South Carolina last year. Trey, how's it going, man?
It's going great. How you guys doing?
We're doing great, man. We're awesome. And it even better now we got you in here. We can sit here and talk some ball, talk about you and your game. You just had the opportunity to play at the Hula Bowl. Before we get into all that, I just want to make sure we got that out there. You were down there for the week in Orlando. Let's start us out with a little bit about you. Who is Trey Knox?
Trey Knox is a fun-loving guy. A guy that loves the game of football from an early age, loves conversing with people and talking to people, just loves life, man. Just blessed to be in the position that I am because a lot of people don't get the chance to do this at all. So I just try to take every day in stride and have the most fun as possible.
That's a good way to live, man, because life can get crazy sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, you just be like, this is nuts. But you get through it, man. You get through it every day. And having fun, man, that's the way to do it. I love that. So how did you start playing football? Because I think, I don't know, some people have played their entire lives. Other people started like when they got to high school. What was your journey into football? What did that look like?
My dad was my first coach at the age of 5 years old. I've been playing football my whole life. Only thing that stunk, though, is, they had the weight limits. I was always bigger than everybody, so I was playing O-line. Fullback. So I didn't really play a skill position, honestly, until I would play like a skill position every other year. So I played running back one year, then I'd be too big the next year. So then I'd be a double striper. I'd be playing center, snapping the ball and pulling and all kinds of stuff. It's crazy. But I played football my whole life. I loved the game since I was young.
So when you think about how you played all those different positions, and I understand it's like you're playing as a kid, but does that help you, when you start to settle in on a position, when you get into high school, you get a little bit older, that experience, does that sort of mold you as a player?
Definitely, because you get to decide what you don't want to do and what you want to do. So that's the biggest thing that helps. Yeah, I don't want to put my hand in the dirt too much every single play. I don't think I'm built for all that. So, but it definitely helps just knowing the concept and how the game works at a basic level. But it's just simple understanding, that a lot of people know, that football people know. But at that age, you don't really get deep into it. It's just really run right and run left, hit this guy and hit that guy. So,
absolutely, yeah. No. So you played at Blackman. You were a 4-star coming out. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you were more of a wide receiver in high school, weren't you?
No, I played wide receiver my first 3 years of college. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so making the transition to tight end, I think, is kind of going to be something that's people are going to have interest in you for, right? Because you're still in that sort of, that range right there where we talk about big slot, able to play some inline, but really more utilize you as a wide receiver. So is that something, blocking and those kind of things, is that something that you like to do?
I love to block. I think it's the most underrated part of my game, honestly. Yeah, everybody knows that I can run a route and catch a ball, but I'm not afraid to go and be in the trenches and stick my face in there and, be nasty. So,
Jarvis?
Pulling back a little bit here, you mentioned that your dad was your first football coach, and I was looking at your profile on the roster page, and I noticed that your name's William Knox III. Sorry to pull instead of using Trey, but can you talk about your relationship with your dad at all? What impact has he had on your life, and in terms not just in that, but specifically in football, how has he kind of guided you through that?
Definitely. I mean, football was his favorite sport when he was growing up. He just wasn't blessed enough to be able to play. Had a brain tumor at a young age, and so just wasn't allowed to play contact sports. So his love of the game bled through me. So being able to be in the position that I am, I know it makes him very proud, and he tells me all the time. So I'm just glad that I can make him proud and make him happy to go around and tell people that his son is doing this, because he sacrificed a lot for me to be in the position that I am right now, working overtime, taking me to camps, training, all kinds of stuff just to get me to where I am today.
Keep going, Jarvis. I know you got more.
No, it's such a, not to be like that's a jarring answer. I didn't expect it. It's such a.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is, and that's one of the things. Is like you never really know what type of relationship a person has with their parent until you hear something like that. You're like, oh wow, like that tells you a lot about just the type of person he is and the type of environment that you were raised in. Going a little bit forward here, you mentioned that you played wide receiver early on through your college career, kind of late shifting towards more tight end stuff. Can you talk about how that transition went, and just kind of what the overall process was, getting more into that traditional tight end type of role?
Yeah. Well, went to Arkansas, played receiver my first year. Had a pretty decent freshman season. Actually, really good freshman season.
I remember it too. Yeah, we were talking about you a lot. Yeah.
COVID comes around. That year was trash for everybody. And so I had a bad year. Then 2021 comes around in a position battle. Some things don't go my way. Ended up getting benched like right before the season. So then I just decided, hey, man, the writing's on the wall. Let's just, move to tight end. I've been told my whole life that, bro, you're going to end up playing tight end anyway. So I was like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and try this thing out, because I just wanted to get on the field. So moved to tight end, learned how to play tight end in about 2 weeks, a week and a half. And then so 2021, I started the first game at receiver, and then I played tight end week 5. It was like actually getting meaningful reps at tight end. So I learned I had taken information very quickly and fast. I download stuff very quickly. So it wasn't really that hard of a problem. The only thing that I really had to learn was just the run blocking, the run scheme, all that stuff. And once I did that, I felt comfortable. Just had to learn how to block, because I didn't realize how difficult it actually is. I thought it was just getting in the way of people, but no, you have to have good feet, good hands, good hat placement, good leverage. Like, it's a whole process to be able to block somebody across from you. So doing all those things and just trying to improve every day as a tight end, because I believe that my best days of playing tight end are still ahead of me. So I'm just excited to keep playing the game of football.
Anytime I think you make a position change like that at that point of your career, there's so many different little nuances to playing every position that it takes a long time to pick up on them, and it just takes experience and reps, and that's what you're still building on. So there's definite upside there, right? When you talked about what that process was in learning the different run blocking schemes and all those different things, what was the most challenging aspect of going from wide receiver to tight end for you?
Probably the physicality. I feel like that's the most glaring, obvious answer. Blocking from all the way outside to blocking first round guys and guys that are 250, 60, 70 pounds. It's completely different. So just being able to bring enough stuff with you in between the tackles was just it's just like a whole new world out in there that I wasn't used to. But once I got used to it, it's just like anything else. Once you do it enough, you're comfortable doing it.
When this is not quite like your game. This is more so playing at Arkansas and then going to South Carolina, because Coach Pittman came into Arkansas and really did some awesome things with his culture. Kind of flipped that. That was a fun team to watch in 2022. So when you had the decision and you made the decision to go to South Carolina, what kind of led into that? And how did the coaches in Arkansas kind of take that you were going, to the other side of the SEC?
Yeah. Well, I think the easiest factor I thought of was my position coach. So Dow Loggins, coach, longtime NFL coach. He took the offensive coordinator job at South Carolina, and he was my position coach. And we're locked in for life, like family members. So I thought it was a no-brainer. Just, hey, my guy's sliding, so I'm going to slide with him. And that's how it was. And it also didn't hurt that half of our coach staff was leaving anyway. Like all the coaches, Barry Odom took the head coaching job at UNLV. He and I are really close. And then Mike Shearer, who was our linebackers coach, is the DC there. So we had a lot of guys. We had a lot of coaches. Kendall Browse ended up taking another job. So we had a lot of turnover in the staff. So it wasn't really hard to get out of there. But I felt like that was the best decision for myself.
Jarvis?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you mentioned COVID year kind of sucked for everyone. Can you talk about that at all? What sucked about COVID year?
Well, I had a horrible season one, so let's just get that over with. Boo-boo season. Just went through a lot of hardship between family, my dad having a stroke and having brain issues. So that obviously didn't help. And then just the whole process of COVID, people not being in the stands, it just weighs on you, man, not being able to interact with people the way that you normally do. And then also the thing that you love to do is also not going well. So it's just a lot of stuff going on.
Did you have to get quarantined or anything during that time?
Yeah, like 3 times, but I never got COVID. It made no sense.
Yeah, I think most of us were sitting there watching college football going, yeah, that's not making much sense at all. But
yeah.
We'll talk a little bit about that too with the stands, right? Because how much of an impact do the fans play in the SEC?
Oh, a lot, especially when our defense is on the field and their offense is out there and it's a crucial third down. Not being able to hear the snap count goes a long way. And also when we're trying to get something done and we false start. I remember at Arkansas, we played Georgia 2021. We false started the first 2 plays of the game because we were right in front of the student section. So the first snap of the game, it was 1st and 20.
Yeah.
And we gave up a sack that play. It was like,
oh yeah, no, it's just gonna be, and that's Georgia. Yeah. They're winning natties, and you're just like, okay, whatever. Yeah.
So the crowd definitely plays a lot. So when you're able to hear your quarterback say set, go every play, also it calms you because you're not as nervous and like, oh, what's going on? I got to look at the ball. But when you can hear everything that's going on, sometimes you don't want to hear some stuff that you don't want to hear. Somebody might be talking crap in the interior and you like, whoa, hey, yo, like some foul stuff. But, sound plays a difference in a lot of areas. Communication, getting the right plays, running the right routes. Because sometimes the quarterback might check, and if everybody don't get to check, then we look like dummies. So.
Yeah.
At the risk, let me ask this, and you don't have to say it if it's too much for this show. We got to be a little bit family friendly here. I feel like you have a very particular instance in your mind of something someone said on the interior, and you heard it because there was no crowd. Can you share that at all, or is that too foul for this?
It's definitely rated R.
Oh, so just R, not NC-17.
No, just R. I don't think it's too crazy.
Okay. Yeah, no. I would like best trash talkers that I ever heard about was at least the most intimidating was Phillip Rivers because he never cussed and he still made you feel bad. That's what I've always heard. So, that's one thing about trash talking. Go ahead, Jarvis. I'm sorry, Mike. This question will pop back in my head.
Do you trash talk at all?
I don't really talk much unless I'm spoken to. I'm one of those guys that try to just be chilling. But if I get in that mode, it's weird though, because sometimes I'll get really like mad, and then it's just like I start saying anything. I might hit you in your if I chip you and knock you in your butt, get the up, you just start going off. And there's sometimes where my coach will be like, "Hey, calm down, dog. Like, you good?" I was like, "Yeah, but I just got turned up a little bit." But I do have that switch. I don't have it all the time because I think my head would probably explode off my neck if I did.
So last question about SEC stadiums, because South Carolina in a night game is pretty freaking lit.
Yeah.
I'm a Vols fan. I don't know if you could tell. I don't know if I have any Vols stuff behind me. So when we went in there in 2022 and watched that game, I know you weren't there for that one, but that was a tough game. They got beat by 2 or 3 touchdowns, and it was just the crowd was insane. The atmosphere was insane. So you've been in some pretty darn crazy environments in the SEC, on the road, going to different games. Out of all of those places that you've been, which one sticks in your mind the most?
Probably Death Valley for sure. Baton Rouge is a tough place to play, and especially at night. Because I played there twice my career, and they were both night games. And one was my freshman year when we played, Joe Burrow and them boys when they won the Natty, and that place was just insane. Shaquille O'Neal was there, the whole 9 yards. It was wild. And then I played them again 2 years later, and we won in overtime, walk-off field goal. So
I remember that. That was a good one. That was a classic.
I think that stadium for sure. Neyland, I only played in Neyland once, but golly, it was round.
Yeah, that was yeah. No, Death Valley is
probably those two for sure.
Yeah, Death Valley and Eland. That's good to know. That gives me hope next year, man. So when we talk about you with your skill set, and so what is the thing that you take the most pride in with your game?
Just trying to be physical. I don't want to look soft. I think the things that I live by the most is being smart, tough, and dependable. I think those are the big 3 things that encompass my game. Is I'm going to know what to do, I'm going to know how to do it, and I'm going to do it under pressure. So being smart, tough, and dependable. I'm not going to miss practices or games unless I'm just completely jacked up. And then I'm going to know what everybody does. There's a couple plays out there where Spencer doesn't know the O-line verbiage, and I'll have to call the play to the O-line. It's just what I do. And then being dependable, just trying to make the right play, right read, do the right assignment every single play. I'm not going to be perfect every play, no man is, but I'm going to strive to be that.
Jarvis?
Yeah, you said you're not going to miss any time unless you're really messed up. You missed 2 games this past year due to injury, right?
Yeah.
So can you talk me through that process at all? What kind of was going on this year, if you can share that, and how'd you get through that?
Yeah, I got banged up all year long. It started in camp, had an MCL sprain going into the first game, literally the week of the first game. So didn't play that game at 100%, then get my ribs bruised against Mississippi State week 4. Then MCL injury again the next week. Then we go to play Texas A&M week 10 and just partially tore my hamstring in the middle of the game. And then I hurt myself again against Clemson the last game of the season. I was getting cooked out there. I ain't gonna lie. But I tried my best to come back as quickly as possible, especially from the hamstring tear. It was a grade 2. And it was right there where it connects to my bone in my butt. So literally probably one of the worst spots you could hurt yourself. And I was in agony for a couple of days, couldn't walk up the stairs. Our team meeting room was upstairs. So walking up the stairs sucked. Trying to go to the bathroom was horrible. Was horrible. So I was in agony for, a couple of days. I missed the game the week of the next week, and then I suited up for the next game just because we were back in conference play. But I was definitely not ready to play that week. But I just felt like it was important to at least show everybody that, hey, like, I'll play if you need me to, type deal. And then finished out the last two games. Had a false hamstring on, like the whole band wrapped around my leg just so I wouldn't, extend too far running. So, and then I hurt my knee against Clemson, missed like the whole first half got hit low, didn't see it. MCL injury again. And I had to get shot up at halftime to play the rest of the game because I knew I wasn't missing. Like that could possibly be my last game. I wasn't gonna miss it for anything.
Yeah.
So they ran across the street, got my knee brace, and then I got shot up at halftime and finished the game. It wasn't pretty, but I was out there, and that's all that matters.
Was it your hardest season so far, just in terms of fighting through injuries and all that?
Oh, for sure. Because when I was at Arkansas, I missed 2 games in 4 years. And that's only because the coaches held me out, not that I was injured. Because I sprained my ankle 2021, but we played University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. So the coaches were like, hey, we scored 45 in the first half, and we don't need you to play this week. So just 2 games in 4 years and then going to missing 3 games because I missed the second half of A&M and the first half of Clemson. So I count those 2. So really like 3 whole games that I missed in a year. And it doesn't add up because I don't usually get hurt. Or if I do, it's not bad enough to where I'm not playing through it. Like the rib injury I was telling you about, like the following 3 games after that, I was getting shot up before every game just to numb it. And then I'd get a pad wrapped around my whole body just to play out there. So I wouldn't at least try to feel anything.
And those rib injuries are tough,
Bro.
Because it's so sensitive all the time.
I don't wish that on anybody, the rib or the hamstring injury. That rib, it's like, bro, I couldn't even sleep. I roll over and just wake up. I'm like, golly, bro.
So you got the opportunity to go down to the Hula Bowl. Talk about that process a little bit and the advantages that you felt, the things that you were able to enjoy down there in Orlando for the week. And, maybe if you want, talk about some of the teams that you talked to.
So I didn't stay down there the whole week because I'm still recovering my hamstring right now. Mm-hmm. So I went down for like 2 days, talked to almost, I think, like 20 some odd teams. Just because I felt like it was important to get down there and talk and at least show my face to people. So if you couldn't tell, like I like interviewing. This is what I'm good at. And like I want to be in front of the camera once I'm done playing ultimately. So
see, yeah, no. We know some people. We can hook you up.
You might have to put me on for real. So I feel like I knocked those out of the park, but I was just, it's just this process is stressful. Not knowing where you're going to live, not knowing who's going to take you, if anybody even likes you. So it's just hard to, to be focused and be where your feet are. And I think that's one thing I'm trying to do a good job of is just, hey, man, enjoy the process. Because everybody, like a lot of people don't get to do this, honestly. And good thing that this only happens one time because I don't think I could take it ever again because it's ridiculous. But I'm blessed to be a part of this situation and that I'm able to even go through and be on this show with you guys. So I'm just extremely blessed.
Absolutely. Jarvis, you got anything else?
Yeah, I got a couple things I want to throw out here. So first off, you mentioned, that after you get done football, you're interested in kind of getting into this sort of thing. So I noticed you got your degree in communications, right? So 2 things here. Can you talk about that a little bit and just kind of, where you see yourself in the future if football ends up not working out or way after your playing career is over? And then number 2, I say this as a fellow communications graduate, so I'm not trying to be mean here. You're SEC Fall Academic Honor Roll 3 times in a row. How much does your academics mean to you? And I say that acknowledging that it was a communications degree, so we're not out here doing engineering, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Definitely, once I'm done playing ball, definitely want to be in front of the camera somewhere. I think, I don't know, Tony Romo is probably one of my favorite like broadcasters, just the way that he explains the game. And I feel like I do that a lot. Like a couple weeks ago, who was playing? Detroit and
The Rams.
Oh my God. Was it the whole controversial Frank Ragnow.
Oh, Cowboys.
There we go.
Yeah.
And I was standing in my best friend's living room. I was like, yeah, they're about to do a throwback to the lineman here. That's exactly what they did. They was like, whoa. Like, you know what's going on right here. I was like, yeah, like I'm on my Tony Romo stuff. So I think I would love to be that right there. Definitely a sports broadcaster running a show, but also I love what Shannon Sharp does and just all the avenues that he pursues in the podcast and the being on television. It's just so much that you can do nowadays, media wise, that like the possibilities are endless. So. And then, my grades. I forgot almost. Very important though, because when I was younger, even my dad was like, "Hey, you gotta actually try in school." He always made this point to me, like, if your grades start doing bad, I'll personally go up to the coach and say, "You're not playing football no more," and he need to get his grades up. So I took that to heart. So graduated with like a 3.7 GPA, like high GPA. Went to class, tried my hardest. Even in high school, I graduated high school a semester early, but I had 15 credit hours, college credit hours. So always tried to go above and beyond in the classroom as well, because I also think that if one aspect of your life is off, or then it also bleeds over into other aspects of your life. So I try to handle my business everywhere.
Gotcha. I got 2 more for you here. And number 1, I'll go with, you said, you were watching that Cowboys-Lions game. You're like, they're about to throw back to the offensive lineman. How'd you know that? What were you watching? What tipped you off?
Honestly, just the situation, because actually I was like, I would go for 2 here. And then they ran the offense, but they kept the offense out there. I was like, okay, what does it look like? Jumbo set. So this is probably a throwback to the tackle. But I was really calling a lot of the plays the whole 2-minute drive before they even scored. Like I remember saying, we got a tight end choice route right here. And then Sam Laporta ran the exact play that I was talking about. So I just love the game of football and just analyzing and visualizing myself making plays as well. So, football's my life. I'm more than a football player, but football is what I do.
Sounds like Ben Johnson needs to get this guy wherever he ends up.
I'll throw one more out here too, and this is kind of a white shirt gang too. I have a white shirt underneath. I'm always wearing white shirts. I see you got a white shirt on. You always wearing white shirts. You always wearing plain stuff. You like to dress up nice. What's your wardrobe look like?
A lot of Lululemon, and a lot of white t-shirts. I ain't gonna lie. I wear a white t-shirt like every other day. My primary colors I dress in: white, black, and gray. I think those are the 3 best colors ever. I got black pants on right now and a white shirt, and that's the majority of what you're going to see me in. And either like some Birkenstock sandals or some Nike slides is about it. But I can get clean when the occasion calls for it, but just not all the time. But I do got some fits though. I got some fits for
Got to in this economy.
Got to.
No, so I guess my last question for you is, when you've already started the NFL interview process, going to Hula, but you got a few more events that are up ahead of you. At least your pro day, probably some top 30 visits and stuff. When you go into these conversations with NFL teams, what are they getting in Trey Knox?
Definitely a guy that works hard, guy that loves football, and a guy that just wants to get better every single day. And is not content on being where he is right now, but striving to be where he wants to be in the future. I'm going to learn. You can't ever stop learning. So I'm just going to try to soak everything in as much as I can and just be the best person and football player I can be day in and day out.
Awesome. Jarvis, you got anything else there?
One last thing I'd throw out. I know you mentioned kind of when you're talking about, it's stressful not knowing where you're going to be, and, do teams really like you? Do they have any interest in you? I will say, I would almost guarantee you, you went to the Hula Bowl, you're a longtime starter in the SEC, productive. They like you. It's just a matter of how much.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
don't doubt that at all, man. Ever. Don't ever doubt that. Teams are going to like you.
For sure. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Hey, so thank you for joining us. I definitely appreciate the time. Stick around with us for just a second. But first, AC, Sammy, let's wrap this thing up.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Draft Vogel on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.